is recording. So I think my prayer for this session would be, my prayer would be that God gives me the ability to really deliver this thing, or do justice to it, okay? Within the time possible. Are we together? Yes, and more importantly, that the persons listening to me will better understand it than the way I even try to, put it. I'll put it in the best of my capacity, but I wish this will sink deep into the heart of every single one of you so that you can understand what it is. I think there was a time I ran a training. You cannot check it on YouTube if you maybe missed it. I think we ran a training on Emerge. Can we remember that training? Yes. And that I did my best in that training. But the truth is, that was a training I learned from some of my teachers. But the truth is, even after rewatching it, I felt I didn't do justice to it. But most importantly, it's not about how much we say what we say. I think what you can pick out of it matters most. But for this one, in fact, the importance of this one is on another level. And that's why I'll just pray that, that you will understand it even better. And not just even understand it, but using it well so that you can really make progress with it. So the title of it, just like you can see from the screen, is Time Management, right? For optimal productivity. I didn't disclose the title initially. We've reached maximum, the Zoom capacity has reached maximum. Those trying to join in might find it difficult, so they should join any of the offices close to them. So I had to come up with this training because of the celebration on Saturday. The training I was supposed to run was supposed to be self-power. I've delayed that training for long. All right, I've delayed it so long, but it's worth it. It's incumbent upon me. It's like an obligation that I have to come up with this, because this is, sometimes I look at what is most important at a given particular time. So that's why I had to delay that. That training is also very, very important. I've run it before, a very long time ago. Importance of cell meetings, the modalities for cell meetings and all that. But I intend to run it and run it even more explicitly and more powerfully so that people can appreciate it more. But I had to suspend that training for this, because I discovered I was seated at home. I was happy on one note, but on the other note, I was not happy. I was happy because I had a couple of persons who were celebrated. A good number of people from the team were celebrated. They made some achievements. Some were not outrightly recognized because the achievement was not enough recognition. But we had a good number of people who were not even recognized for anything. I think that's the majority, right? Yes. So it tells us that we are so correct when we say that the bottom is crowded. And I encourage everybody to move to where? The top, because there's enough space. The sky is so, you see, when you look at the ground, there are houses and everybody is there. But when you look at the sky, the number of planes and all the top is less crowded. There's enough space there. Hold up. They only see hold up for airplanes. You understand what I'm saying? So the top is too spacious. So, but I discovered, I was also thinking, what is happening? I took a survey, and this is one thing I do. As a teacher, I do this. I have to look at sometimes what are the areas people are really lacking in. And I've studied it carefully. I've discovered that this is one area people are really lacking in. People are not lacking in maybe working hard per se. A lot of people work very hard, but the problem is, this is where the problem is: time. So many people put in their best, and it's indeed. In fact, one of my students told me, we were in a session, and he told me, I said, why is your code like this? Why did you generate this kind of result at the end of the month? She told me, mentor, I did my best. Yes, indeed, she did her best, but that was not really the best, actually. There could have been more if she understood probably this training, right? So that's why I came up with this. I discovered a lot of you would have been celebrated. So many of you would have been, maybe you'd have achieved more, but the problem is this, and that's why I have to address it. So it's a very, very, very powerful training. It's a very, very important one for a couple of reasons. As we move on, you will understand it. Time is one of the things that, if somebody will tell that time cuts like a knife. It's either you use it or it cuts you. It's either you use it to cut or it cuts you. So that's how it operates. So, but when you understand how to, in quote, in what? in quote, manage time, not really, but manage time, you know, you understand how to manage time, you can achieve more within a given possible time. I'll tell you the reason. You will understand more as you move on why this training is even more important than most other things. Sometimes I wish this training will even be part of maybe some beginning trainings, you know, I don't know how to put it. This kind of trainings where people get at the early part, even before venturing into other things. I mean, most of the activities people do. If you can get trainings like this, it will be good. Because one of the things that helped me, I remember the mastermind mentioned something. Um, though there are some things not too good I do, and I won't encourage it. As we move on, I'll tell you some of the things I do which are not good. I do it sometimes just to meet up with certain things, but not too good. I don't advise people to learn those things. And sometimes it's still because of my what? My deficiency in my capacity sometimes to really what? You know, manage time in quotes, you will understand why I say in quotes, right? You'll understand that. And well, to the best of my capacity, to God be the glory, I've been able to achieve, you know, something, you know, to the glory of God. And I was looking at it, what is the difference between what I do and what most people do, especially my students? People I teach, people I train, you know, that gives us this huge gap, you know, or that makes the gap so wide. You know, the mastermind says something, for those of you, how many of you on the night, the celebration? He mentioned something, they said that if you want to fight, you know, something happened when I sent him my income. I don't want to mention, when I sent him the income, he made a statement, he said, now wow. Now, so when he said now wow, I didn't understand what he meant by now wow. I thought that maybe some other people's income have, you know, he said now wow. So, but I just, well, in my mind, I said, oh, maybe it's going to be, whatever I know I'll still fall among top 10, no problem. I kept on promoting my thing and all that. So I was actually shocked. I was surprised when that celebration came up. The reason is because of his statement when he said Nawa. So it means eventually the Nawa he meant was he was looking at the margin, probably. That was what I get to understand or to understand. Or maybe he was putting me in suspense, you know, not to be comfortable, probably. So, but I was afraid. But eventually I had to look at it. What is the major difference between what I do compared to what other people do? This is one thing. I'll give you most of the things I do and what I've watched some of my teachers do. Some very, very effective people. When I mean effective, people who are successful, they're very, very effective. Some of the things they do, some of the things I've learned from them. I'm not talking about what I read of, something I've learned from them. You know, some of this information I've fetched them from somewhere, but some things I've learned from people practically that has also helped me adjust it. And some of the things I've applied that have helped me. So this training is something like, it's like oxygen as far as your business is concerned. Because if you understand how to manage, in quotes, manage time effective well, you will break barriers, you achieve more. All right, so are we ready for it? Yes. Are we ready? Yes. No, don't sound ready. Are we ready? Yes. Those on Zoom, if you're ready, let me hear you right. Let me see you right. Just write yes on the box. Just write yes. Let me be sure you're ready so that, please, for those of you writing congratulations, stop writing it, except if you know you are celebrated. Stop congratulating me. All right. Most of the people that congratulated me, sorry to say, I didn't, although it's part of it, you will understand why. Many of them I couldn't even reply. The messages are much. All right. It's part of it, time management, because I'm also deficient in it. But to the best I've been able to achieve, I'll share with you. All right. You know, I hope you know I'm learning. I hope you know that. Are you aware? I'm learning, I'm growing too, just the way you are. All right. I might have an edge over you, but the truth is I'm learning and I'm growing. I'm learning and I'm growing steadily. All right, that's it. So let's swing into action and let's see how fast we can make this. Now, understanding time, that's the first and most important thing. Let's first of all understand time itself. Now, time is important. You need to understand what time is. I was trying to understand it well. Everybody knows time. It's not about knowing what time is, but I was checking through definitions in the dictionary or something. When I was checking through those definitions, I saw, I don't know how to do this. I want to remove this stuff. Huh? No, I can pin it. Let me just pin it. Yes, but let me pin it first so that pin this, and then I will put the small. No. Okay, good. So let's do this way. I think we can leave it here, right? So that those on Zoom at least can see. So that they'll see me talking, they won't be seeing a blank, whatever. So I was checking through, don't worry, this is just an animation. You see the books I've checked, have you? I'm just joking actually. Right. So I checked a lot of definitions of time, and it has several definitions. Now there are so many definitions. So understand this, that there are numerous definitions when it comes to time. Sorry, please don't. Sorry. All right. There are numerous definitions, but in relation to the subject in view, I had to narrate. I looked at, I think I checked over more than 20 something definitions of time, and I was still counting. What is time? So, but I had to narrate to what matters to us as far as this training is concerned. I just picked out two crucial definitions, but that's not exhaustive, all right? Number one is, I checked, I think Webster, and he said that it's the inevitable progression into the future. Please, are we together? Follow me carefully. The inevitable progression into the future. See, I want you to, it's not just writing, but I want you to put your heart into this training, put your mind here. Put your mind, sink your mind deep into this so that you can catch the information. All right, that's it. So Webster said that it's the inevitable progression into the future with the passing of present events into the what? Into the past. Inevitable progression. If it's inevitable, it means you can't help it. I mean, now what does this tell you? By definition, it tells you that time itself is not something you can hold. It will continue to move, and it will move. So it's a progression, it's moving, and it keeps on moving, and the future will always come, right? And by implication, it means what is present, time will always seek to make the present what? Past, so that it can progress into the where? Future. So it means it's inevitable. And in fact, some definitions I checked, some other places says irreversible. Some other people disputed it, maybe those who believe in time, travel, and all that. But some say irreversible, meaning once it's gone, once you've lost it, it's gone, right? If you see this time we're spending, the past 1 hour, you can't get it back. It's gone, right? That's how it is. So inevitable progression, some other definitions say irreversible. So it tells you that you can't hold it, it will continue to move, right? So how do you manage something like that? Then another definition says the measure, the measure or measurable period during which an action, process, or what? Condition exists, right? Or continues. Or it can be a quantity or availability of what? Of duration. I took my time to define it so that we can appreciate this thing well. And so that when I start talking, you will understand the essence of certain things I'm indicating, why I'm pushing or emphasizing certain things. All right. So let's catch it. A measured period, a measurable period, a period during which you can do something, whether you can carry out an action or a process or anything, right? So it's a quantity or the availability of what? Of duration. The duration you have to do something, the time you have. So that's time. Sometimes other definitions, the clock, what says the time and all that, they're not applicable in relation to what we're dealing with today. Now, why time management? Now, these things need to be understood. Since time is irreversible, or let's put it this way, is inevitably progressive, it means there is need to understand time management explicitly. Why? Because how do you manage something that is out of your control? Do you control time? Who controls time here? I think God alone controls time, right? Yes, spiritually. So you as an individual don't control time. So how do you manage something you don't control? Right? Now, and this brings us to why what? Time management. Why what? Time management. Now, follow me carefully. Now, the thing about time management is, you see, managing time, that's why I was saying in what? In quotes. Managing time is about managing yourself. It's not really about managing time itself, because it's not something you really control. It's about managing yourself, all right? Because you don't have control over it. So, but however, what you actually have control over is what activities you do during your time. So you have control over the things you do But the time itself, whether you like it or yes, time will always move, isn't it? Good. So you can't control that. But what you can do is, in fact, I was listening to there's this, I've forgotten his name. He said something, he said, time is always going, whether you like it, whether you are sleeping or eating or drinking, whether you are angry or sad or happy. If you like, be angry for now till next year. While you are angry, in that state of anger, time is what? It's progressing, it's going. If you like, be happy, spend a lot of good time in your life being happy, time is going. If you like, be sorrowful, oh, be miserable and all, time is still going. It won't wait for you. So the idea is, whatever you do, time will continue to progress. The only thing that happens is when you bring your energy, you concentrate your energy or your activities to a certain level of, maybe your energy to a certain level, all right, a level of concentration, then you can tell what you achieve more. And you see, look, this is how it is. Everybody has the same time advantage, whether you are poor, rich, or as the case may be. It's 24 hours. How many hours in a day for everybody? It's 24 hours. Even the Mark Zuckerberg, the Dangotes, and everybody has 24 hours. Whether you are poor or rich, whether you are angry or sad, it's 24 hours, by design, 24 hours for everybody. So whatever you do, time is the same. It's going to be progressing. You can't stop it. But the idea here, okay, somebody said Jim Rohn. Thank you. Now, the idea here is when you bring your energy to a certain level of concentration, then you can achieve more in the same period of time. Everybody has the same time. The same time I have is the same time you have. All right. So if I'm doing more, it's not because I have more time. It's probably because of the activities I'm able to put in, how effective I'm able to concentrate my activities. All right. During the same period of time we all have. That's high up. Please do. Are we following? Follow me carefully. Now, please don't be so focused on the writing. You can write, no problem. If you want the slide, I'll give you the slide. All right. So you can write, but I know some of you might not get the slide. You'll be writing, but please. Let it be that you are listening more than the writing. I'm not too really a fan of, I love writing, but maybe our mode of learning differs anyway. For me, I can stay in a training, I can write, take important points, but I can listen very well such that I can get the point and I can reproduce it in my own way. All right, if I prefer that if you can, but if that's difficult for you, no problem, write. But please ensure that as you're writing, don't get too carried away whereby you are not listening. Please listen. Are we listening? Yes, sir. Are we sure? Yeah. Beautiful. All right. So why time management? So it's more of activity management. So time management itself, some people will tell you that it doesn't really exist. You can't manage time because we don't have control over it. So for the sake of it, when we say time management, understand we're still referring to what? Activity what? Management. Some of the biggest challenge, it will shock you to know that one of the biggest issues most people have, most network marketers, most connectors face in their business, why they are not able to achieve anything. They have been struggling for months, years. You see somebody in the business 6 months, another person is in the business 10 years. Somebody 6 months in the business has achieved more. This is because one of the biggest challenge, there are others, but one of the major challenge a lot of connectors face are related to what? This issue of time. How they effectively coordinate their activities within the given period of time they have. And that's the essence of why we'll be doing this training, so that you can understand how important it is. Now, efficient time management is the single most critical skill an excellent leader or a connector, anybody at all, should have or can have, right? Whether it's in your place of work, even in your home life, it's the difference between what? Excelling and what? Underperforming. And it's also the difference between swimming and what? If you are performing well in this business, or you are underperforming, you are productive or underproductive, it's a function of how well you manage your time. It's not a function of I don't have time. Please, let's get it right. So it's one of the biggest people face. When you see the problem, I would have done this business. My problem is time. I don't have time. It's a lie. You have more than enough time to achieve what is possible within your capacity. But if you don't know how to manage your activities or coordinate your activities, it will always look like, even if you have, nobody will add, God will not give you 48 hours as your one day. It will always be how many hours? It will always be 24 hours for everybody. So this is one of the big challenge, or the most serious challenge lots of people have in their business and why they can't achieve much. And it's a different, when you see people not productive or they are not getting results and people getting results, check it very well. It's how they coordinate their activities within the given period of time, which everybody has equal access to, right? Which is the same for everybody. And it's also the difference between swimming and sinking. People who succeed and people who fail. It's either you are swimming in success or you are sinking in failure. If you see the difference between that, is what you do, the you factor, how you coordinate your time, how you manage your time makes all the difference. Are we following? Good. Now, why time management? Now, I'm going to be sharing with you strategies, all right, for you to effectively and better manage your time and become more productive. So strategies for better time management and what? Productivity. Now, that's the essence of this training. Now, follow me carefully. I'm going to be sharing with you some strategies, about 5 of them, or thereabout. I think we have about 16 slides to roll. We've rolled 4 already. You can see the numbers there. So roll 4 already. We have about 12 more slides to go. And I think about 5 stuffs I'm going to be giving you, strategies, which can help you really coordinate your activities so that if they are celebrating, you see, I deliberately did this training because we have between now and, which month are we now? September. We have between now and, when is the next celebration? Beginning of November. So we only have September and October. The time I've already started counting. You can't hold it. It's about 60 days approximately. But out of the 60 days, 4 days or 5 days already gone, right? So you just have barely maybe 55 days left, right? Combination of both activities will tell what you'll be celebrated for. What it means is if you make whatever you make, they'll put the two together, all right? You can make 1 million naira, right? This month. The second month, you made 500,000 naira, but when they are celebrating, they don't celebrate. You might even make 500,000 naira this month. The following month, you make 1 million naira. That's a total of how much? 1.5. Divide by 2. Although you are supposed to look like a millionaire, right? But are you a millionaire? You are not going to be celebrated as much. So understand it's a combination of what? 2 months activities. Was I the one that said that? I think you heard the mastermind said it, right? Good. So that's why. That's why. And those who will understand it, you will know that this is the time where you need to cancel everything. Whatever you will achieve, if you follow this thing carefully, it will be this month. If you get it right this month, next month will just be more like a walkover, right? So get it right in the earliest time, all right? So let's get into them. Are we ready for them? I think there are about 5 or 6 or thereabout, but let's take them, all right, in no order of importance, but let's just take them. Number 1. So what's the first one? The first one is to do what? Balance work and personal work and personal life. Learn how to balance work and personal life. This is one strategy that can help you manage time effectively. All right. I have, when I started this business, let me tell you one thing, especially in relation to white time management. When I started this business, initially, that was about 4 years ago. When I started this business, I think today maybe 4 years in the business now, exactly 4 years on the dot, 5th of September, 2018. So what happened is, I was worried when I wanted to start, but I was worried because I was looking at time. The nature of my job, if any of my colleagues is here in the meeting, will testify. I don't know what is the nature of your work, how much time you give to your job, and how much time you have that makes you think you don't have time, or how much of activities or how engaged you are that makes you think you don't have time. I can only remember that the nature of my work is to, sometimes it starts from 4:30 or 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and sometimes it ends sometimes 6 o'clock in the evening, sometimes 8 o'clock in the night. So sometimes 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes 2 o'clock. Now it used to range between 12 hours to about 16 hours. And on a bad time, which is about maybe 3 weeks within a period of maybe 6 months, 3 weeks within a period of 6 months, I will always have a time where I work for 24 hours. Yes. All through day and night, day and night, day and night. I do that. So the work was relative, but on a low case scenario, any day you close very early, be sure of 10 hours. If you close very early, be sure of how many hours? 10 hours. So 10 hours, you go maybe by 6 or thereabouts, and then you close maybe 10 hours down the line, maybe 4 o'clock or thereabouts. So be sure of 10 hours. But I didn't like the work, but it was putting food on the table. It was putting food on the table for me and my family, so I couldn't leave it. So when I saw this business, thank God, I think God was directing me to something. Thank God I didn't make that terrible mistake of, accepting my fate and telling myself I don't have time, and then doing that same job. So I actually told Dr. Victor that, and he explained this, even though he didn't run it in full like this for me, but I think he was able to give me an idea of how to effectively manage my activity. And he told me, no, it's not about time, that I can manage, there's a way I can strike a balance and all that. So one of the things he taught me was to balance work and what? And personal life. So when I learned that from him, it changed my perspective. And this was what I was doing eventually. I'll tell you some of the things I was doing that helped me. So when I understood how to balance work and personal life, courtesy of what I learned from Dr. Victor, then I discovered I actually had more time. Even though I was working a job of over 16 hours, I actually had time. I had enough time for the business. And I utilized my time so much. And within a space of about 5 months, I achieved something a little significant in the business that gave me the audacity to quit the job. The job that was paying me about over 100,000, about 100,000, just slightly over 100,000. But eventually, this business was now paying me double that amount. So what should I do? Of course, I should resign, isn't it, right? So I decided to kick away the job and face the business. But how come I was able to build a business on a job that ranges between, on an average, 12 to 16 hours, on a low best case scenario, 10 hours, on a bad case scenario, full day work, day and night? How was I able to do this? Now, let me tell you some of the things I do. I'll share it to you, but let's look at some of the points. Now, basically, these are the basic things. These are the basic points. Just take note of this for those of you that are interested in writing. So this is how you balance it. And I'll tell you some things I did specifically. Set up your ideal physical environment, all right? There is an environment you need to carry out a particular activity you want to carry out. When we say an ideal physical environment, it could be your office. Are we together? If we're together, say hi. Hi. Follow me. Is anybody sleeping? No. Don't sleep in this train. No. Sleeping in this train is like sleeping on a moving motorcycle. I'm serious. It's like sleeping on a moving motorcycle. Set up your ideal physical environment. It could be your office. Maybe that's where you know that you are more optimal. It could be, maybe you don't have an office, but at least you have a workstation, right? A place where you know, yes, and that's the physical environment that gives me that advantage or that ability to concentrate or actually do what I'm supposed to do. So I had to determine that my ideal environment. For example, if you're talking about an environment to make call, you know the kind of environment you need to make call, isn't it, right? Good. You can't make call in a motor park, right? So it means, therefore, if you're a driver and you, most times in the park where the agberos are shouting, beggar, 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 it means that environment might not be ideal for you, right? So it means you might need to what? Set up an ideal physical environment. It might not be so easy for you to maybe sometimes wait till you close from work. You might want to do some things in between. I'll tell you how you do that. Maybe sometimes in the course of in between driving hours and all that, where you just see the need, maybe you decide to wind up completely. When you wind up the car, everywhere becomes an ideal physical environment for you. That might be your ideal physical environment because you're on part-time and you don't have the room, the leverage, or the opportunity to come to the office to do your activity, but you can find your ideal physical environment. For some women, for some people, their house, especially those who are, it's a homemade business sometimes. It's a flexible business, right? So some of them, ideal physical environment is their bedroom. They have to keep the children in the parlor, lock, and go to the bedroom, or maybe go to the parlor, lock them in the bed, something like that, right? Set up that environment that is serene, that will give you the right focus and everything. Then, of course, set up specific times. This is how you balance between work and personal environment, because there's one thing about this business. There's sometimes this business will have to encroach into your personal life, and sometimes your personal life will also have to encroach what? That's how the business can be, but as you progress. But if you know how to strike the balance, and you know how to set up specific times, you know how to program yourself, right? Work your activities, specific activities for your business. You know how to specify your times of the day for specific activities. You'll be more productive, you'll achieve more, right? And of course, one very important point is this: clear your mental decks. This is not just about clearing your decks. It's not about making the table empty. Clear your what? Your mental decks, your mind, all right? Forget about personal matters. When you're set to do business, clear your work, your mind, those things that are troubling you while you're working, all right? And of course, personal matters while you're working and vice versa. When you decide to go on personal matters, business should be kept aside. Please, are we together? That's why it's not all the time people call me for business. I have the mastermind mentioned something. He did a training, right? If you remember, he did a training, and that training was very, very powerful. Despite the time there was time constraint, I benefited a lot from that training. And he said something. He said, for those of you that can recall, he said, some of you are wondering if the leaders are resting, something like that, right? Should I tell you the truth? What did he say? He said they are resting. And I'll tell you the truth, they actually rest. It's you that is thinking, oh, they are not. No, they rest. But what they are able to do is this, being able to what? Set up that balance between work and personal life. All right. So let me tell you what I did that helped me in this. Number one of the things I did was I discovered I actually had a lot of time eventually when I was able to set up balance. Initially, the way my work used to be, maybe you can derive from my story. My work used to be like this. We go in the morning very early. If you're in production, if you're in rearing, you go maybe at 7 or thereabout. But if you're in production, you go very early, 4:30, 5 o'clock at some point in time. So the idea is breakfast. If you go very early, that early, then it means breakfast will start by 8 because you start your work from that 5, 6, 7, 8. You work for about 3 hours. Then breakfast you do breakfast from 8 to 9. Then work continues from 9 maybe till about 1 o'clock. 1 to 2, you get another break, right? And this break is not really an official break per se. It's just a break by understanding. Everybody knows that at least we should have a break, right? That Muslims need to go and pray and all that. So these breaks are there. So after that, of course, you walk through and then till the end of the closing out. Now, initially, this was what I used to do. And many of you, if you check even your workplace, especially for those who are part-timers, you say, I don't have time. My problem is, doctor, I don't have time. My work, I'm a banker, I'm this. It's a lie. You have time. The problem is you don't know how to strike the balance between this business and other activities. You see, we used to have for breakfast 8 o'clock to when? Maybe 9 o'clock. Sometimes I even extend. But when I started it, do you know what we usually do? When they bring food, we'll start eating. We'll be eating. And within that period, because we dedicated 1 hour for eating, we eat for 1 hour. Because we actually dedicated, we know that 1 hour was the break. We were actually eating for how long? We ate for 1 hour. Because that's what we knew was the norm. When I joined the business and I saw the need to build this business, how long ordinarily should it take you to eat? 5 minutes. No. Don't eat like that, please. Don't go up your food. Eat well, okay? So let's say 10 minutes or 15 minutes, right? Quarter of an hour. At least it's okay, right? 15 minutes, right? Is 15 minutes okay? Yeah, it's fair. It's not bad, especially if you know what is pursuing you. If you know that there's something pursuing you, you eat and then you swing into action. So what I was doing, I'll just eat as quick as possible. Just take the food, go up it, drink, take water, and then I'll leave. So then what we actually used to do was we are eating and we are gisting. We're eating and we're talking, and we're losing time. But when I started this business, all of a sudden I started changing. So that time of talking was no longer there. All they see is, it was in the farm. We're not even allowed, it was illegal for you to take your phone. There are many jobs like that. It's not just that job. There are many jobs like that where you don't take your phone into operations, right? You're not allowed. There was a locker room, you come, you change and everything, you must change completely. But for the sake of this business, I had to start sneaking my phone. I had to get a boxer that has a pocket. That's what you see, when you create time for is what you have time for. You are the one to determine what you want. It was illegal, that's true. May God forgive me, say amen. Amen. I was pursuing my financial future. It was necessary. It was illegal to take phone into operation. But I was not the only one doing it, please, for your information. So may God forgive all of us that were doing it. Yes, so I will sneak it. I had to get a boxer that had pockets. So I will change. All right, and then I'll put my phone inside the overall, inside my boxer, and then I'll wear my overall. So once I'm done, and inside that pocket, my contact lists were actually there. I had my contact list in papers. I was not even using most times I was using the papers. So I'll just put my paper. Many of you have the advantage, just get a big exercise, big exercise. You are carrying on, you have all the time, and you are not achieving, and you are complaining that you don't have time. You have enough time. So I was thinking, once we're eating, they won't see me. They didn't even know what I was doing actually. Because what I'll just do, I'll just immediately finish eating. They're busy just they just say I left. It will look as if I went to check some other things and all that, check the welfare of the. But I'm in the postmortem room. I'm in the place where we dissect beds and all that. What am I doing? I'm making calls. So I'll make calls. They'll look for me. 9 o'clock, they've resumed. They've gone back to work. But I might not go to work until maybe about 9:30. But it didn't look like I was not actually, cheating their work, but it was like, man, he's busy somewhere. He's busy. But I was actually busy. Was I not busy? Yes. I was busy, but I was building my future. Now, the idea is I was making calls and I was building my business. That's the time I need to do reminder. That was my reminder time, right? So 1 o'clock, break time, do some more calls. In fact, that's my time. And the joy I had was, it was perfect for me. I would do the same thing in the afternoon, but that afternoon was more for reminder. And not reminder, what do you call it? Follow-up, thank you very much. Was for follow-up, because especially if they've done the morning event. Sometimes the event is 10 a.m. and I know that anything from that period of time, between 12 and 1, event is over. So I have to do follow-up by then. I was actually balancing. Then we close. So because of that, I was no longer doing any extra work. There was a time people would do extra work to get overtime. I was finding every means to avoid overtime. I only started doing compulsory overtime. Sometimes where the work lags and you don't have any choice, but you need to stay behind. It happens like that in companies. Those of you that are working class, you didn't plan it, but the work, you can't leave things to go wrong. You just have to stay overtime. The company, you have to understand with them and they'll pay you for it extra. But my colleagues were always looking for that opportunity to get overtime. But I was doing everything as much as possible to avoid it. But they didn't understand, because I wanted to run back maybe as early as 4 o'clock, so that when I get to the dormitory by 4 o'clock, I don't want to do more than 12 hours work. Go by 4:30 in the morning. I want to close latest 4 o'clock or 3:30, close earlier, so that by 4, maybe I get to the dorm, then I start doing my bookings. And I'll do my bookings. My bookings was majorly in the afternoon, from 4 o'clock downwards till about 7, 8. Then I'll do my calls. And that was my routine. And so I had to just do the balance. It was tedious. Sincerely, it wasn't easy, but was it not worth it? It was worth it, because what I was fighting for was my freedom. I needed to be free. And eventually I started doing well in my income and I quit the job. And then I started having maybe more time, as you would say. But I think I could do more there because I had more time. And this was it. This was how I was able to strike the balance. I'm saying this as a story for those of you that your situation might be so extreme in terms of time constraints. You're on a job. Let me advise. If you're on a job that does not give you time, that is as bad as the one I was doing when it comes to time, so excruciating, time demand, energy sapping, and all that. Please, is that good for you or bad for you? It's bad for you. Don't come out and even be proud about it to say, I'm busy, now I'm a banker, I don't have time. We go very early and we close late. Don't be proud of it. Be sad about it. That's the humble truth. Be sad about it and fight for your what? Freedom. It's not going to come free, but you must know how to balance between your business and your work, your job. You must know how to balance between your work and your personal life. You must know how to balance all these things. And it's still a problem for many people, even in the working class. Some of them have given all their life to some jobs and they've neglected their families. And because of that, a lot of things have gone wrong with the families. True or true? Absolutely true. So you must know how to strike this balance. Know your conducive environment and strike a balance. That's it. Now, the second point is this. What is that? Work with your natural cycles. It's better when you work with your natural cycles. I wasn't really doing, sometimes I'm guilty of this, but I have to teach it the way. Sincerely, I've not followed this 100%. And work with your natural cycle. What are your natural cycles? Everybody has, there's what we call the circadian rhythm, right? The circadian rhythm is your biological clock. You see, we're not talking about the normal clock. Everybody has a biological what? Clock. Like, have you heard this statement? Somebody say you can't cheat nature. Have you heard something like that? So everybody has their biological clock. If you like, obey this clock or not, but there is a biological clock for you. You understand? So work with your cycle. For me, I'm actually, this is the thing I have to teach you the right thing, but I'll tell you what I do, honestly, but I'm not telling you to do exactly what I do. but it's better working with your natural cycle. Know your productive time, use your time to do the work, and when there's time for rest, rest. When there's time for this, your productive your cycles, for example, is like this. There should be time when you should be sleeping, isn't it? That's the truth. There should be time when you should be resting, there should be time when you should be working and all that. Know your natural cycle. Some people go the extra mile. They patch into their work, into the into their biological clock, they distort it. And one of the things that causes that is when they are not able to effectively manage time. That's why I tell you there are some areas I'm also guilty. I'm still trying to adjust myself. And why I run this train sometimes is, when you watch the clock, what happens to your hand? It just gets clean naturally, right? So it's also a helpful thing for me. It's like I'm reminding myself, but even though I don't follow this that much, you see, when you do the right thing at the right time, all right, and you do well, most times you don't need to penetrate or interrupt your biological clock. Some persons say, my problem is by 9 o'clock, please don't sleep by 9. Sleeping by 9, even my children don't do that. But let's assume you sleep by 9, that's your natural. You can still do this business and record massive success. That's the truth. For someone like me, leave my own. That's not important. But the reality is, some people, are some of the things you should avoid. Take advantage of your natural cycles. Avoid this kind of, boosters, artificial boosters. We did it a lot while we were in school. A lot of you did it while you were in school, isn't it? And you take coffee, isn't it? Yeah? You take a bitter cola. Is it cola? Cola not, Abi? What else do you take? You put leg inside water and all these things. Well, I know you wanted to achieve more. Let me just tell what's happening. It's lack of time. When you see people doing that most times, it's poor time management. I'm guilty of it too. Some beautiful times I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. When I fail to do them, this is where I punish, and that's the punishment for me. Most times I see it as a punishment for not doing the right thing. See, don't let anybody tell you, oh man, you need to go deep into the night. I do it, but I don't advise it. Period. That's the truth. I do it. On the average, this thing, I learned it in school. And if you check an average medical student, most, maybe not all, but most students, especially those who have this bulky curriculum, maybe vet medical student, medical doctor, maybe engineers and all, they have this kind of nature, especially when exam is coming, right? They're always studying, they study day into night. Some of them read till daybreak. Is it not true? Yes. Yeah, but the truth is I got used to this in school. I've learned how to sleep for 4 hours for 6 consecutive days. I've learned how to do that. I sleep on average maybe from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, sometimes 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours sleep. That's what I do. If you see me sleep anything beyond 12, most times it's like I've done an accumulating task during the day, or maybe I'm sick. Anything before 12. Most times, that's why if you check me very well, those of my leaders, they know even when we chat and when we even interact. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, sometimes we are chatting. Sometimes that's when I call them. And it's a period, it's a normal thing. Check me online, last seen online. You always see 1 o'clock. And I've noticed even the mastermind too. It's like that. At times I'll go and pick last seen. I'll see online. Sometimes I need to challenge myself. How will my mentor still be awake and I'll be sleeping? But it's not necessary, all right? Balance yourself. You can sleep by 10 o'clock. You can sleep by 11 o'clock. You can sleep even by 9 o'clock if that's your choice. No problem. But just ensure that what you're supposed to do is done. That's the most important thing. The idea of taking natural, I don't take all that. For me, I'm used to it, all right? I used to sleep. It's a common thing for me. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that's the normal time the sleep will just come. I can't sleep. That's just me. I can't sleep. The sleep has to come. Sometimes I have to take a book reading or watching videos before I can sleep. That's what has become of me. And it's like a mess of my biological clock. I don't advise it for people. It's not good for you. All right? It's not good. I don't like it. That's the truth. But I do it because I can't help it. Maybe I'll still try to learn it. But over time, over the years, this is something I've done for like 5, 6 years, 7 years. And I'm used to it, right? The only time I majorly sleep is whenever it becomes overwhelming for me. And that's why even in class, I sleep a lot. Those who knew me, sometimes on a lecture, sometimes I will sleep very well in class. That's because you can't cheat. That's the truth, right? So that's it. So understand it. Do your creative work, an important call when you are more alert during the day. Morning hours are the best time for massive invitation calls. See, the truth about it is, if you do the right thing when you're supposed to do it, you don't need to go all this extra mile of taking all these boosters or doing extra and all. It's unnecessary. I do that sometimes because I am also guilty of time management. That's the truth. Otherwise, And many of you will do something like that. You want to do extra. But guess what? By that time, some other people are already relaxing. Because what happened is when you had cell meeting, when is the best time to start making call? When do you think will be the best time? Even after 70, go and start your call. But some people will not start the call. They won't start. They will be doing other things. What exactly are they doing? You can't tell. So many things to do. We'll talk about it, right? And before you know, from 9, 10 o'clock till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, guess what? They book like maybe 3, 4, 5 persons. And that's a mess of the day. That's a mess of the day for those who understand it. If you do the needful after cell meeting, sit down for 2, 3 hours, maximum 4 hours, you do a booking. You could book as much as 40%, 30%. It's possible. You could book even more. If you are too slow in booking, you sit down for 4 hours booking. Let's say you sit down from 9 o'clock till about 1 o'clock doing your invitation, productive work. That one is okay for that day. Or let's say 3 solid hours from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. That one is as in 3 solid hours. In 3 hours, how many people would you book, Mr. Obaka? You can book like 30 on a bad case scenario, right? And if you've done 30, is that not okay? It's okay if you feel it's okay. Some persons might do more. Some might stay for 4 hours and do 40. Some within an hour, they can do 20. So in the same 3 hours, they could do like 50. It all depends on your capacity. But most important, if you sit down for 3 hours doing productive work, you cover up. But where the problem is when you don't do the productive work at the time you're supposed, then most times, if you have to meet up, guess what? You will have to do extra. You have to mess maybe your biological clock up. Well, sometimes you might need to do it, but guess what? I don't encourage it that much. Now, breaks are good for rejuvenation. For me, if I'm making my bookings, I take a break. When I was in my job, I must take a break. It's a no, I can only book for maybe maximum of maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 10 minutes or thereabouts. So I must be forced to take a break and do something else, right? That's it. So if you do straight 1 to 3 hours booking, take a break, move around, walk around, refresh yourself. All right. It's good so that when you come back, you start and you do something, you are rejuvenated. So, but when you work with your natural cycle, you can be very, very productive and you can achieve more. Even somebody that sleeps by 1 o'clock, you beat that person. Trust me, if you do the right thing and you do it well. Are you learning something? Beautiful. Now, the next one is what? Recognize what? Can we read it together? No. Let's read it together. Recognize. This is one thing you want to do as much as possible. That's strategy number what? Number 3. So recognize, so know distractions. You need to understand distractions. Know them, recognize them. Because sometimes, let me tell you something about distraction. There are some things some people don't know that they are distraction, but it's actually distraction. And if you don't identify them, you fall for them. And at the end of the day is lost. Recognize distractions and limit them as much as possible. And even interruptions. There are some things, well, not really distraction per se, or just an interruption, but it's still a distraction, right? They are important, but they are not urgent. They should have waited, but you end up doing them because you were interrupted, right? And that's why we started with the first point. We said the first point was what? What did we say first? And the second one was what? Yes. And in balancing your work and everything, we talked about finding an ideal physical environment, right? Yeah. Good, that's it. So that, and why one of the things why we need that ideal environment, physical environment, is to limit distractions and what? Interruption. So recognize them. Sometimes you get to ideal physical environment, but these interruptions and distractions still come. All right, but you need to recognize them and you need to avoid them. Distraction and interruption, they rob us more productivity. Understand this. They rob us more productivity than anything else. Distraction and interruption, you say many times you might find yourself doing no money-making activities. Like what? Example, checking your mails. Like what else? Phone calls, not booking calls. That's the time you're supposed to be doing booking calls, maybe between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock or 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. But guess what? Other calls. You're in a serious relationship. You were actually seriously searching. And finally, that's the time your fiancé decided to call you. Well, is it not important too? It's important. But you see where the problem is. Why are the girls, the men are just burning their face, but all the girls are smiling. That's the time they decided to call you. You must recognize, even though it's good, it's a good. If you want to interrupt. No, they will not call, but they will call them. Oh, no, but they call them now. Which call? And the connectors will not call, but now I just get that as an example. But there are many other. When I say phone calls, for example, you're actually making your booking calls, right? But other calls that are not booking calls, and that time was meant for booking calls. But guess what? That's the time your fiancé is calling you. Or your mother is even calling you. Yeah? And you know, of course, somebody, you see, we fall for this thing. It's like, man, hey, mother is calling you. It takes nothing to, okay, hello, mommy, okay. If it's urgent, that understand. I will give you, there's all called the 4 Ds of time management. I'll share it with you. You need to know how to rate these things. Even when your mother is calling you, yes, you answer. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Don't worry. Okay, mom. In fact, don't worry. If I know, can I call you back? Let me just, so that I'll just, there's sometimes, can I? Oh, okay, no problem. And the beautiful thing, let me tell you, any other person will not understand. Your mother will even be the one to understand more. That's the beauty of them. Your parents will understand more. Although fathers may not be like that. I'm talking to you, man. And you have to, but mothers will always understand. And they are the ones that deserve more attention, actually. But the truth is, they understand more. Phone calls, village people. That's the time they tell you, family meeting. Somebody died. And the person has already died. Yeah? Emergency. These are things that will come up. Chatting online. Chatting online. It's not, you're not doing prospecting. You're not sharing video. That was supposed to be a time for making calls, doing bookings, sharing video, doing all those things, looking for sign-ups. That's why sometimes I'll be around. I'll be at home. I'm trying to just do something, trying to beat some time. Like yesterday, I scheduled my 4 o'clock to before 7 o'clock. That period was actually meant to prospect, personal prospecting. I scheduled it. When I scheduled it, I started getting interruptions at this, but I recognized them. One of my leaders called me and said, "Hey, doctor, I want to come to your house. There's something I want to show you." And I said, oh, okay, it's very important, but you know what we'll do? Let's leave it to today. We have to push it today. Later, my wife came. As she's talking, I'm answering, I'm nodding my head. But guess what? I'm busy doing what? At the end, she said, she was telling me to do something. At the end of the day, after like 2 hours, she said, "So you mean you didn't do this thing?" I said, did you tell me to do it? She got very angry. She said, "So this guy told you didn't." I said, you didn't tell me now, you'd have told me. That got her angry. But the truth about it, I recognized that this was a distraction. I didn't want to hear that because that time is just less than 3 hours and I have to maximize it for that purpose. Because if I miss it, I've missed it and it's gone, right? So chatting, some things are important, but you understand the 4 Ds. Because some of you will be like, so you mean if they make comment, do any of that? No. Understand it. When you understand the 4 Ds, all right, I'll talk about it shortly, so that you know how to balance those things that are urgent, important, or as the case may be, right? Surfing the net. Some people, the time they're supposed to be doing booking is the time they are what? Searching the internet, checking WhatsApp status. You're smiling, you're laughing. Time is burning, it's going. You're not holding time. Viewing YouTube videos. If that's the time for training, you want to go through trainings and all that. See, some things are good to do, but when you do the right thing at the wrong time, it becomes wrong. That's the truth. It's the right thing to do. It's good. You want to watch YouTube videos, you want to learn more, you want to do this. Playing what? Video games. I know some connectors that are guilty of that. If you know you are guilty of it, just repair yourself now. Playing video games. I'm a game freak and I know how addicted game can be. Fire Force. Free. What's free? Okay, it's a video game, right? Different. But you see, the problem is that's time wasted. That's time wasted. These are no money. They're all no money making activities. No money making activities. Take note. Take note. It's not just even, please, that's why I say name it. What other one do you know? What other no money making activities do you know that are distractions? gisting, talking. And that's what, and this is one of the things that kill a lot of full-timers. Full-timers in the business, full part-timers, somebody will come to the office. I challenge anybody. Hi, may God forgive you. Somebody say amen. Amen. Anybody that is a full-timer, and 1 week will pass, you didn't produce, you didn't generate a code. May God forgive that person. Somebody say amen. Amen. 1 full week, a full-timer. 1 full week passed. You didn't produce anything in your business. The question will be, what were you doing? What exactly are you doing? That's the question. Let me tell you what happens to most of them in this business. Not that they are not doing activities. You need to identify money-making activities. Those are the things you should start your day with. After you are done with your sales meeting, go into money-making activities straight, immediately. Because most times, those are the activities that are relatively somehow rigorous and less attractive. Like booking courses is not a very interesting thing. Reading books and watching videos and all that, it's easier. You can do that when you've done the hard one, you know, the Herculean one. You gather close to wash. And guess what? You started washing boxer. So that at the end of the day, then you now start washing jeans. What is the color of the person's brain? Now you start washing boxer before jeans. I don't understand. When your hands are already worn out, and even the jeans, you won't wash it clean. That's what happens to people. They will not, they say, have you booked? No. I'm planning to book after the 4 o'clock. You want to start booking. What is the color of the high God of mercy? These are the things that are happening. And guess what? They were actually busy. After the sales meeting, they were busy. Guess what they were doing? That was the time some connectors were telling them about product, personal development. Some other connectors were telling them, we need to mentor. My account has not been linked. Leader will leave productive activity and start pursuing linking of account. Linking of account that you can even send towards the end of the day. You just send it to anybody to link. Please, did you get the logic? Linking of account, is it important or not? It's important. The product issue, helping your downline get their product, is it important or not? Well, you must know the right time to do it. It can't be in the morning hours when you should be doing productive activities. Let me just, I know once in a while, maybe emergency, and you do that, that's understandable. But it shouldn't be the routine. Every day your downlines, after sales meeting, they will come and sit with you. Some of my leaders used to do it back then. After sales meeting, after everything, we'll sit down, we'll be gisting. At some point in time, one day I woke up, I stopped gisting with them. When I stopped gisting with them, guess what they did? They formed another congregation and started gisting with themselves. It's like we're duplicating gisting. I had to break that yoke. Guess what I did? I woke up one day. Those leaders, I don't want to call names. You know, when I talk, you know I'm referring to you. I said, you, what are you doing now? He said, oh yeah, go and book. You, what are you doing? Oh yeah, go on. I don't have contact. Oh yeah, carry flight. I started pursuing all of them out. So don't take it as a prestige when you always see your team members around you. You feel is a good thing. At least my team members around me. It's a bad thing, you know. It's not good. It's not. Some of you say, at least I need my team members to be around me. No, don't come around me. I don't even want to see you. That's the smart game. Read your first and automatic and you understand it. What other things, distraction? Name them. Anything you know is recognize them and limit them, right? And guess what? Give priority to what? To money-making activities at the beginning of your day in your business. Don't start with account linking. Don't start with product issues. Don't start with downlines wahala. Don't start with those things. Prioritize money-making activities. Somebody is telling you, come and help me do this. Come and help me do this. Don't start with people's problems. Start with money-making activities. Start doing them first. Because the beauty of it is that when you start money-making activities, there's this momentum it gives you, this energy and happiness, joy it gives you. You've not booked for that day. At the end of the day, even the ones who booked the previous day didn't come. You even feel drained. You can't even book at the end of the day. But guess what? You've already booked like 30 in the morning or 20 in the morning. But guess what? Even though at the end of the day, the ones who booked yesterday, nobody didn't come. But you have what? Hope. Did you see the difference? Because you know, okay, no problem. Nobody came, but at least tomorrow I know they will come. Hope. So every morning, give yourself hope before you even see the result of the previous day. Please, are you learning something? These are things that if you do them, it will make a huge difference. It will shock you how simple and as fundamental these things are. It makes all the difference, right? Schedule your interruptions by setting, up a couple of times by schedule your interruption. So that is for those who are asking. Does that mean we shouldn't give attention? No, you will. But schedule it, not the time for everything that you need to attend to. Schedule your interruption. There are times you need to give attention to certain things. Downlines, wahala, product issues, account linking, replying downlines message, name it, every other thing. Schedule it. Set a couple of times a day where you are available and open to necessary interruption. Know those times where you are open. And the beauty of it is this. Adapting strategies. Now listen very well. Are we together? If we're together, say hi. Now look at this. Adapting the strategies above can help you free your time so you can concentrate on money-making activities and educate your prospect. Now listen very well. This is even more important. And educate your prospect, your friends and family that you can't be available all the time. That is the most powerful thing you need to do. It's not to be a messiah to answer everybody's problem at a given time. It's for you to tactically and politely help people understand that I am not always available. Even your mama will understand. Your brother will understand. Your wife will understand. There are times my wife don't call me. That's why sometimes when I see a call, I'm already assuming. We have this agreement. If she called me once, I didn't pick. She won't call me again, except if that's why if I see her call, now my phone is turned upside down. If I see her call one and I'm busy, I won't pick. But if she called the second time, if I see that, I will start weighing it because that second one means I need your attention now. But the third one will mean emergency. We understand that. So if I see 3 missed calls, even before I pick that call, my heart is already beating because I don't know what has happened. So because once she calls me once and she knows that I didn't pick, she knows I will call back. She won't call me again. And she'll be patient till I call, except it's an emergency. People will naturally learn it. Some of them naturally, when they call you didn't pick, they will send you a message. It's not all calls you must pick. It's not every time your phone rings, you must pick that call. Who told you that you must? Who told you that you are under obligation to pick everybody's calls? Please, are you learning something? Listen, I have to teach you people this thing. You are not under obligation to pick everybody's call all the time. Please understand it. Not even the call of your families. If those are even the ones, sometimes if you are not careful, it's the one you should even sometimes be careful with. Not the time to pick it. Because sometimes I was facing a heavy family problem. Dr. Victor advised me. He said, you know what you do? Well, after narrating, he said, no wonder your productivity has been dropping. I said, I don't know what to do now. He said, look at what you do. What you do is, this is their issue. Just schedule only at night for it. That's what he told me. He said, even if you see their call, don't pick. Family meeting, family emergency, blah, blah. He said, don't pick. But what you do, always call them back at night. That was what he taught me. And I started doing that. And when I call them, I always apologize. Oh, sorry, I missed your call. I'm sorry. You know, I was actually busy. Something happened. I was not even with my phone. So when they did that 1, 2, 3 times, they understood that what? I am actually what? Most times not available during the daytime. So they've learned to call me when? Right. This is a simple thing. And some of you think, what are they teaching us in this business? Bankers, do they allow them answer call? No. They don't allow them answer call from morning till almost the end of the day. Some of them, they just sneak maybe during break and they answer call. They don't allow it. Some teachers in some schools now, they don't even allow them to take phones into the class. Is it not true? So what are you saying? Who told you that you're under obligation to answer everybody's call at every given time your phone rings? No. That's why I tell people. Some people will call, I called the mentor, you didn't pick. I didn't see your call. Say, look at my number. I called you with this number. And you would have called me with a number. That's why if you're calling me with a number I don't have, it's a problem sometimes because I might not pick immediately, except I'm settled and I'm ready to respond. Otherwise, I won't pick because I might be busy. Please, are you learning something? So that you know how to manage your activities well and prioritize things, right? Let's get to the next one. That's number what? Strategy number what? Number 4. And he said, can we read it together, please? Avoid unhealthy multitasking as much as possible. This multitasking thing is you see, there are times where you multitask. Do you understand what is multitasking? Combining different works together. All right. If you must multitask, in fact, as much as possible, avoid it. You know, I know you're surprised. Some of you are surprised what I'm telling you, but I do it a lot. But I, to the best of my capacity, even though not all times, but to the best of my capacity, I try to practice what I call healthy multitasking. You can multitask, but with healthy combinations. When people fail to do what they are supposed to do, they are forced to multitask, and those things have some other effects. Multitasking can be good. Now, look at it, listen very well. We multitask most times. The reason why many people multitask is because we feel we can get more things done, isn't it? You don't want to combine things, you want to do certain things at a time. Everything, you want to combine like 2 things. You are doing this and you're doing this at the same time, right? Because you feel that at least you can use one stone to kill how many birds? too bad. There are times where that is possible. It's healthy for you. There are sometimes it's possible, but it's not healthy. There are sometimes it's not even possible and you are forcing it. That one is even the worst. All right. Now, I'll give you a list of some of the dangers of unhealthy multitasking. Number one is it. Look at the top on the list. One of the things on the list is even the productivity you are thinking will increase. You know, I can do this. I can multitask. Some of them add them to their CV when you're looking for work. Multitasking. If I see that on my CV and I'm an employee, I will not even accept you. That's the truth. Multitasking. Work under pressure. It's not more than you want. You know, some of these things, when you say, when you say some of these things, if I'm an employee, I'll just work under pressure. I can handle. Well, it's a good attribute. That's the truth generally for entrepreneurs, but it's not something you should be inventing. Multitask, I can multitask. Avoid it. It's not a very good thing, but if you must do it, do healthy multitasking, right? So the idea is productivity goes down because what actually happens is when we multitask, instead of actually multitasking, what we're actually doing sometimes for unhealthy multitasking is that you are switching between tasks rapidly, right? Let me tell you this now, I'm telling you, I am even guilty of it. I did it yesterday, right? I was reading and at the same time trying to attend to some other things. You know, I was trying to do those two things in combination, but what I was actually doing was, I was actually stopping the reading and swinging to that thing. And when I finish that, I'll come back to the reading, but I was trying to do the two things at the same time. Trying to read and chat and respond. All I needed to do was just to, for that period, even if I don't want to off my data, silent the phone, keep it. Let me just know that you want to use this 30 minutes to read. But I was reading and answering chats and all that. Those things don't really, except you are reading on the phone. When you are reading on the phone, you are reading PDF. And then a WhatsApp message comes. I say, let me multitask. Let me be reading at the same time, responding to message. What happens at the end of the day? Will you not close the reading and open the WhatsApp? You are not multitasking. What you are simply doing is you are switching between tasks. And what usually happens is, see, create time, do what you need to do, right? That is jumping from one thing to another, interrupting yourself. Most times you are losing valuable time. Sometimes the time you want to open the WhatsApp or switch to the PDF, your phone will hook. Because you are over busy in the phone, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Switching between tasks, especially those tedious tasks, right? That is it. And productivity goes down because at the end of the day, you realize that you've actually wasted some time. Those times are switching. Those times where your phone goes, slow because of this multitask, or those times where you have to pause. You have to do this and come back. You have to do this and come back. Many times you lose valuable time. Schedule your time. That's why when you want to see that, come so time. Right? That is it. Now, productivity goes down even more eventually. Research has it. I'll spare you the details because of time, but research has it. You can investigate this, that it even lowers your IQ. Yes. If I want to research, I was going through one of these. I said, you know, the average IQ, 100, right? 100, between 100 to 104. See, it cuts out 10 points from your IQ. 10 points. When you try to multitask in an unhealthy manner, right? Somebody trying to, but you know I'm guilty of this, right? How many of you do? Tell me some of the unhealthy multitasking. Let's mention some of them. Unhealthy combinations. You can give me another example. Eating and reading. I do that. For me, it's a healthy one. I like it. It's a healthy one. It's a healthy one. For me, I see it as a healthy one. A prospect in your phone, you're trying to close and you're still trying to what? Make an invitation call. Suspend the invitation call. It's not healthy. That's correct. An unhealthy one. What other unhealthy one do you know? Being in a meeting like this and making calls. Being in a meeting like this and making calls. So that at least let me even do some reminder. Since they are not seeing, yes, let me hide and make. All right. Okay, that's unhealthy because at the end of the day, what happens is you still miss this. You miss information. What other unhealthy one do you know? You know, it's like eating sugar cane and bread. I don't understand how you're going to do it. You just switch out and go and make up. All those things are not healthy. Focus, concentrate. All right. How many of us make up while driving? Is it a good one? It's a bad one, right? But let me be honest, I'm guilty of it, right? I do it a lot. All right. Though I've learned to do something. I just use the Bluetooth, connect it to the car, and we're talking. So, but well, it's arguably healthy or unhealthy, but I know it's unhealthy actually. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Making calls while driving. All right, but I do it. So there are some things actually you do When you try to multitask, they're not really good. But I love healthy ones. What are some of the healthy ones? Let's mention some. Eating and reading for me is a healthy one. Well, some other people may argue it, but I like it. And it's okay for me. All right. Which other one? Healthy one? Huh? Yes, actually, I agree with you, but it's, for me, I find it very healthy because I do it a lot. All right. But if you don't find it healthy, please, if you don't find it okay, and you find it distracting, then you should stop it. That's the truth. But I do that. I know how to balance it. In fact, it's how I'm taking tea, I'm drinking tea, I'm reading, I'm eating, I'm reading. I do it actually, and it works for me. But it might not work for some of you, but it works for me. Which other one do you do? Like driving and playing. Now that one is healthy. It's good. I like it. Well, it's relatable. If you know it's not good for you, avoid it. All right. But it's combinable. It's something we can do. Let me tell you some other things I do. How many of you? Let me tell you some of the ones you do, and you don't want to mention it. How many of you, while you are in the bedroom or toilet, you press your phone? Wait. Do you do it or not? Now, I'm guilty of it too. In fact, that's even the time I read more. Somebody told me that that's the time the reading enters. Well, I don't know. But these are, please know the one, how you combine these things, all right? But unhealthy multitasking, it's not too good, all right? Because the general thing again is another disadvantage of it, it kills your ability to think creatively, all right? The more the task, the less efficient your brain is. That's the truth. Probably that's the point Mr. Emmanuel is trying to make. Mr. Chika, right? You know, it makes it less efficient and it causes it to close down energy draining programs such as creativity. There's one thing you will not argue. When you multitask, that tendency for, for high level of creativity is not there. The tendency for wise decisions is diminished. The tendency for memory function, optimal memory function, these things are diminished. Why? Because these things are forged from the deeper faculties of the brain, from that high engagement areas, those high engagement areas of the brain, those high level of conscious areas. So if you are a little distracted, you know, you can't commit things to memory well, you can just do some things, but that might not be the best decision. So these are the disadvantages of unhealthy multitasking. So if you want to multitask, do enlightened or healthy multitasking. We've given those examples, all right? So identify them, know those ones that works for you that you can actually multitask. All right. Sometimes the truth is this: as an entrepreneur, there are many times you must multitask. I hope you know that. You can't avoid it sometimes. But even if you must multitask, let it be what? What type of multitasking? A healthy one, an enlightened one, right? Identify those, what I call in quote, multitaskable activities. All right. That is it. Schedule your multitasking. Know when you're going to do it. All right. Instead of eating and making calls, I would rather do it eating and reading. Did you get the logic now? So schedule it. Okay, when I want to eat, I'll make the calls and all that, something like that. All right. Don't react to every event. Don't react to every event, right? Answering to external demand. Please come and help me do this. Oh, my mentor, come and help me do this. Oh, my leader, come and help me do this. There's an original goal. Your original goal is to generate 36 code. Your original goal is to be productive. Your original goal is to generate code that day. Your original goal is to, okay, I want to do this. I have this level. Whatever goal you set. I think the ultimate goal is 36, right? Yes, you want to generate 36 code in the month. Please, everybody, make this your ultimate goal. Once you are done with your SMO checklist, that is your ultimate goal. And if you're applying 36 code, 9 to 10 codes on average weekly is good for you. So I want to make sure I get up to 9 to 10 codes. Or, okay, my target is let me first enter primary first. Let me make sure I'm generating at least an average of 3 codes. A week does not pass, I don't generate 3 codes. That's the goal. So you've not generated 3 codes and somebody is coming to tell you, please, mentor, come and help me do this. You will not listen to the person. Please, are you learning something? Please take note of all this. It is very, very important. In fact, one of the understand the power of no. It's not everything you admit yes to. Sometimes you should say no if it is necessary. All right. Some people cannot say no. That's why they're behind. Be proactive. You know that you have a few things to get done. Yes, that's true, but you have a purpose and go. That's the main thing. Don't procrastinate. Avoid procrastination as much as possible. Because when you procrastinate, these are the things that makes you run into multitasking and altering your biological clock. Because those things will go and jump back. And at the end, you need to meet up, with so many things. at a given time. So no procrastination. And the easiest way to avoid procrastination is to quit talking and start doing what? Start doing it, right? That is it. Now, these are the 4 Ds of time management. Are we together? If we're together, say hi. Now, these are the 4 Ds of time management. Now, listen to this. Now, I want you to take a close look at this. This is very, very important. All right? So that it will help you, and it will even help you as much as possible, save you from unhealthy multitasking. Let's look at the table. Those on Zoom, can you see it? Please indicate, just write yes if you can see it. I'm sure you can. Okay, they gave examples. Some say playing a cool music and reading. Well, I don't know. I can't do it personally, but it's like some people do it. Some people said if they are playing music, they are reading, it enters. But it doesn't work for me. If I'm reading and you are making noise, I can't read. All right. Somebody said very unhealthy research. Very healthy research shows that you think well and make good decisions while in the toilet. Somebody said healthy research said that you think well and make good decisions while you're in the okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe not. I don't know. But all right. Now look at these 4 Ds. Just know how to balance between things that are important and what? Unimportant. Things that are urgent and what? Not urgent. Now, this is how you do and how you prioritize. This helps you in priority, the 4 Ds of management. Now, this is what happens. Now, in this box, now look at it. If something is important, can you see my cursor? Yeah. If it is important and it's urgent, what do? You go ahead and do it, no procrastination. All right? But there are some things, all right, they are important. It's not that they are not important. We've already mentioned some of these things. They are very important, actually. But it's just that they are not really, really urgent. So what do? You decide when. You plan ahead of it. So that's not called procrastination. That's called planning. Because you already acknowledge the fact and identify the fact that, well, it's important. But at the moment, even if I don't do it now, I know I can still do it. Because I have other things I should prioritize. Please, are you learning something? Good. There are some things, guess what? They are unimportant. They are not important to you. Not really unimportant in their essence. They are unimportant to you as an individual. But it's just that it sounds urgent. It looks urgent. I mean, to you as an individual, I mean, you are making booking calls and somebody is coming to tell you that there's one thing that is happening and it's very important to that person, but to you, it's not very important, right? So what do you do for such? You delegate. You get people that will do it. You can't leave things that are what? Urgent and important and go and start doing things that are unimportant to you because they are urgent, right? And guess what? You have the last category, something that is what? It's not urgent, it's not important. And what do you do for those ones? Do you know the funny thing? Let me tell you how terrible this thing is. It will shock you to know that many people are so underproductive because this is where the bulk of their activities is. What they should be dropping is what they are actually focusing on and doing. They leave the do it box and do what they're supposed to be dropping and dumping and ignoring. That's what they're doing. We've given those examples, like playing video game. All you need to do, know your time. If you, well, you can plan it. Okay, yes, I'm going to play video game. If that's what you want to do, fine. But know your time for it. You can put it on a point. For some person, do you know, yesterday, we did a home lunch and we invited, the person invited about 20 persons. Is it 20 persons or 20 something persons? How many people came? 1 person came. Yes. But do you know what caused that? When we investigated, we discovered that it's like there was a football match going on at that time. Okay, Manchester United and Arsenal. The football match was going. Now imagine to go to an event where you are supposed to learn how to become financially successful. We to go and watch Man U Arsenal match. Let's look at it. Let's put it on the chart. Wait. Where do we place the category of that presentation? Ideally, where should that category be? Important and what? Urgent, meaning they are supposed to do it, right? But going to what Man U Arsenal compared to doing this business, which category do you think is supposed to be? Don't let those that are football fans decide when. Because it's a choice. It's either this or this. You can even replay the match. But some, you see that feeling of staying in the football house to argue. Some of them have the DSTV in their house. They have all the, but for them to stay in that football house and abuse themselves is more important to them. Please, are you learning something? It's so unfortunate that you'll be surprised. And at the end of the day, you see somebody very old in age, and at the end of the day, you are surprised what has happened to them. He has wasted precious time. I just hope we're learning something. Are we learning? Good. So the next one is what? Culture of instant results. I think this is the last point we'll be taking. That's point number one. Okay. Culture of instant results. The mindset of I must get instant result. All right, is another thing that will waste time. Now be result oriented. Be result oriented. How are you result oriented? This is how it works. Hello. Be result oriented in this manner. When you do activities, there are things you should expect. When you don't get what you expect, for example, if I book, I should expect attendance, right? If I make invitation, I should expect attendance. If I make invitation and there's attendance, I should expect sign up and all that. So these are expectations. All right. Now, when those expectations are not met, right? When I do contact recommendation or non-recommendation, whatever script I'm using, I should expect attendance. When I do it one day and I don't get an attendance, some people, this is it. The problem they have is the idea that there is a quick fix for everything. And this is what actually brings the hurt. This is what actually brings the sadness. Man, meant to have booked, nobody attended. And guess what? Look at how people's time are wasted in this business. They are using the contact recommendation. It's not for me. Anytime I book, even this non-recommendation, I've tried it, it's not working. Now understand it. Because this is another avenue to waste time very well. So many people have tried many things. Businesses, they jump from this one, 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 they jump. They don't stick to the process. Because of that idea of, I need to get it sharp, I need to get it done. Some people have ended up in jail because they want to make quick money. Some people have even stopped responding to their leader because they feel that their leader is not mentoring. Do you know, let me tell you something shocking. It's not really shocking as per se, but let me tell you something. Immediately I was announced, the announcement, you know the announcement I'm talking about, right? That one. I can't count, I've not even had time to go open it. I've received tens of messages, people demanding special mentorship. Tens of messages, maybe not up to 100. It's not even from this team. I'm talking about from other teams that saw that thing. Mentor, please, I want you to mentor. As if they don't have leader. And this is why I know they have leader. And the leader is a competent leader, is a beautiful leader, and the leader has the capacity to take them to wherever they should be. But they are leaving the leader and running to me, thinking that what? Thinking that what? If you want to be successful in terms of, and this is where the problem is. Thinking that there's going to be a magic beans. They are looking for a silver bullet that will kill the vampire. They are looking for that magic beans. Yes, cut soap for me, all those kind of things. These things don't work. Let me tell you what works. You will understand it. If you want to be successful in terms of productivity, time management, and getting results, you have to let go that idea of quick fix for everything. Cutting corners, shortcut. It's not about shortcut. Follow the cut that is short. Some things takes time. I think it was Warren Buffett quote. I saw a quote somewhere that just because you want to have, you can even if you get 9 women pregnant, can't give you 9 babies in 1 month. That's the truth. It will still take you how many months? It must take 9 months on the average, at least some months to maturity. Did you get the logic? Some things will take some time. Go through the process. So what some people usually do is they started a system. And when they started it, they've done the booking. The attendance is low. 0, 0, 0, 0 attendance. Later, it was 1. Later, it even rose. They even got 6 attendance. Later, the attendance dropped. From 6 attendance, it dropped to 1 or 2. Or even dropped to 0. And the next thing they start thinking is like the system is not working again. Everybody knows about it. And they leave that system and jump into another thing. The implication of it is you waste a lot of time because you see, you would have become a master in that system if you had stayed long enough. A master and a consultant. Usually when they call a person consultant, even in the field of medicine, like a neurosurgeon and all that, do you know how many years it takes them to master that art? How many years do you think it takes a person to become a consultant or a SAN? Let's say in the field of law, a SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Is it 1 year? Does it take 2 years? It takes years, several years. To become a neurosurgeon, a consultant, there are some doctors, patients wait for them, they die waiting for them because those are, you see, it takes, some of them will keep waiting, we are scheduling them. Because while he's an expert in that field, go and check what it took him, what he has done over time. There are, let me tell you that doctor, what he has done. There are times he has even killed patients by mistake. Trust me, go and write it there. There are times he has killed patients, though he won't tell you. We know our language. The language is we did our best. He didn't make it. He didn't make it. That's our language. But there are times where we know that it's our fault. It's part of the experience. I remember one day we were in the clinic, and guess what? We made one error. It was an error we made. And we were treating this animal, it was already, well, we asphyxiated the animal because of the restraint. We are restraining the animal. But guess what? At the end of the day, the animal was supposed to get well, but it packed up, it asphyxiated and died. And this man brought this. Well, we have to use some, may God forgive us, amen. But we have to just, try to put in some languages and all that. At the end of the day, we just savaged one of my senior colleagues, one of the doctors, I cannot mention his name. He had to give the man some money, just like his support. Because the man brought somehow a seemingly healthy looking goat to the clinic, and the goat died now. It's part of the process. It's part of the process, because tomorrow, when I'm restraining, when I'm holding that, did you get what I'm saying? Forget about that thing you saw in the book. When you enter the field, forget about reading the script. Am I on to? No, when you enter the field, there are engagements, there are rejections. Didn't I tell you the story of somebody that was calling me, are you hush puppy, brother? You're going to get all these things. You quiver, you jump into another system. Before you know, you have jumped into questionnaire. From questionnaire, you jump into flyer. You will not do the, okay, share the flyer now. Share it now. When you share that, you meet another hurdle. You jump it, you run into another one. Let me tell you what happens. You become a jack of all trades, master of. That is what happens to many people. My mentor is not lying. Let me tell you the truth. There is no mentorship anybody will give you. Write this down. Understand it very well. Know this and know peace. There is no mentorship any human being will give you that will shift you if you yourself don't do what it takes to shift. Even if you like, let it be that is a reward in himself. Eh? Let it be Ambassador Michael. Let it be Dr. Victor. Let it be the mastermind. Let it be Dr. Omar. He's the top highest earner. If you see what mentors do is to push you to do the work. That's their work. It's to educate you and then push you to do the work. But who does the work? You must do the work. So there is no silver bullet in this thing. Please, are you learning something? So that you just before you hear yourself, mentor is you. I want you. It's you particularly, you in particular. I want you to mentor me. No. Very soon you jump out of me. You'll be looking for Dr. Victor. And very soon you see Dr. Victor is not doing well. You'll be looking for Ambassador Mike. And when you still don't get your result, you start looking for Jim Rohn that is already dead. That's what will happen because you keep looking for mentors. It's not about the mentorship only. It is you must use this mentorship to do what? Do the work. Because hard work will always beat talent. If talent refuses to do what? Work hard. No matter how talented you are, if you don't put in this work, it's what it is. All right. And unfortunately, most times people pay attention. It's so unfortunate. When this, you see people who are diligent in doing the work, when they eventually emerge, when they eventually become successful, it always looks like a magic. Have you observed that? Let me tell you something. The announcement, I'm only making reference to it. It's not really a thing for me, but I'm only making reference to it. When the announcement was done, guess what? For many people, it just looked like, wow. The truth about, let me be honest with you, it is not the activities I did in September. Sorry, what month? It is not the activities I did, to be honest, if I'll be honest with you. It is not August activity that placed me in that position. It is not July activities that placed me in that position. It is that periodic, steady, simple discipline. I've been doing this thing over time. time, and I've been doing this to the best of my capacity over time, sticking to it. That's it. So if you think that it's by, oh wow, there was a way he did it, somebody want to know, they are calling me now to tell them exactly what I, and if I fail to tell them, it looks like I'm hiding knowledge. I am not hiding knowledge. That's why I taught you how to emerge, isn't it? There is no knowledge hidden. Everything is clear. It is you that will do it. Give it time. Do it and give it time, but do it consistently. You book today. Look at what some people do. Why they have been in the business 6 months, 1 year, no result. You book today. You book today. The next day, you didn't do follow-up. Or you did follow-up, but nobody attended. You did it the second day, nobody attended. The third day, you didn't do. Fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, you stay. After you got discouraged, then after some like 1 week, you receive one training. The thing will spark your motivation again. Then you start again. You can imagine that some people, their most productive time of the week is like Monday, Tuesday. After they pass through this training now, they are activated, they are angry. When they enter the field, they do small. They deflate like a busted tire. Guess what? Some people, you know where they activate. Some of them, the activation comes once in a year. They waste all their time, but when a major event like retreat, January, some people now they are sleeping. January, when you force them to retreat, when they hear those powerful testimonies, those testimonies are product of 1 year. Consistent grind. They refuse to look left and right. These things I'm talking about is what they were doing for 1 year. No left, no right. And at the end of the day, you see them to come out club, you are seeing these things. Guess what? But guess what? The problem is this. Immediately you receive those testimonies. Oh, for today, thank God today. When you hear that thank God today, let me tell you, that thank God today is a result of 2 years. Thank God today is a result of 1 year, of not just 1 year, but 1 year of discipline, consistency, not welcoming distractions. And you become very motivated. No, how can give to KB top 3? 22 years old girl for what? No, I refuse it. I refuse it. Then you start. That day you now book 50. You book 50 and it will overwhelm you. Let me tell you something. When you do those things, it overwhelms you. When you grow, you start 10. From 10, you're increasing it 15. Later, your daily becomes 20. Later, your daily becomes 30. Before you know your daily, you can do 50. And it will look like. But guess what? When you go and try it, then somebody asked me, what do you do? I told them what I did, and they went and tried it, and it became a problem. So many presentations do you run? We're like, what were you doing? I said, I was running like, there were times I was running like 4 presentations in a day. But now I don't run that much anyway, but I was running 4 presentations back to back. In a week, I was running like 12 presentations in a week. Sometimes 13 presentations, sometimes more, sometimes slightly less. An average of 10 to 12 presentations every week. Saturday and Sunday was an average of 6, minimum 6 presentations, Saturday and Sunday. Presentations spread across the week. I was doing it. And guess what? The person got angry and started it. The next thing, he came down with malaria and typhoid. Because he got angry, he wants to record that 4 presentations. You can't, it doesn't work that way. Build it. Go, keep going gradually. You grow the capacity. Because this is what is happening, and this is what has been happening to people. When you see all these successful people, I don't know if I'm sharing screen, all right? Most people only pay. Please listen to this thing. Please listen to this thing very well. Please, those on Zoom, please, are you seeing the screen? Is there a change in the screen? Please let me be sure. Please, somebody log in and check. All right, I want to play something. Yes, there is. There's a change in the screen, right? Now listen to this. Listen to, and this is what happened. Now, this is it. Please listen very well to this, right? Are we together? If we're together, say hi. Now, listen to this very carefully. Listen.
Most people only pay attention
when you see successful people, that is what they see. Final product of a successful entrepreneur. That's what they see.
They say things.
Some of them will say, I God give them more.
They got lucky.
You just get luck. Now, Dr. Victor, they favor him. Something like that. This is Dangote. This is Mike Adenuga when he was a what? Taxi driver and a security man. This was Dangote when he was serving his master. This is the same. When you see Dangote today and you are, hey, Dangote, he's the richest man. Now God they give him. Who will give him before if not God? Did you get what I'm saying? But there are things you were not there. Did you know this Dangote then? Yeah. How many of you have even seen this picture? Many of you didn't see it. You don't know this picture. When he was serving his master, when he was doing boy and following his master. That time he was waking and suffering and struggling and all that, right? But nobody saw that. But you don't know what they've overcome. You didn't see Mike Adenuga Guess what? Oh, he's an oil mogul, is this, is that, is that. You didn't know when he was what? Doing taxi driving. You didn't know. You didn't know when he was a security man. Did you know? You didn't know. Nobody knows you. That's why nobody cares about your story until you win. If you like, keep saying in our family, it's just that my mother, our family, the village, if you like, is a good excuse for you, no problem. Let it weigh you down. Nobody cares. It is when you emerge. Somebody say, I must emerge. Hey, nobody cares. Oh, I'm telling you, nobody cares.
The struggle.
Listen,
the daily rejection.
these struggles, the daily rejections, they are doing it. The headaches, the heartaches. This is Linda Ikeji. Guess what? In trying to be a successful model, got taken to the police station. They even arrested her. She could not even pay her rent. But did you know? Were you aware? You didn't know. But she didn't stop. She didn't give up. She kept on pressing it. Today, banks are looking for her to invest with her. You are going to a bank to look for loan. Bank is telling you to speaking grammar for you. That's because you didn't emerge. When you emerge, the bank will come to your house and look for you. I told my bank I needed something. I told them I needed something over the weekend. The guy didn't even know I was the one calling. It's like he said he had a problem with his phone. And I called him. And I told him I needed this, and he was speaking grammar. Okay, sir, what will happen is this. That was on Friday, on Saturday. Then I told him, I said, okay, if that's the case, I think, oh, no, it was on Friday. Then I said, if that's the case, I don't think I should be having this my account with people. I will come so that we will know how to work this thing out. Because if you are telling me that this little thing, you cannot do it for me, I have to come to the bank. I think we need to rethink about this thing. And I said, please, anyone speaking to, can I get your details, please? Let me really understand so I can know what I can do. And after I said, Dr. Umar. As I mentioned my name, Dr. Umar, guess what? He now checked. He said, just send me your candidate, I'll work on it. I said, but don't worry, I will come so that we'll conclude on how I will close the account. The guy has been begging me, has been sending messages till now. If I show you his trail of messages. But you go and shout in the bank that you want to close your account. They will even help you close. They will even help you. They will even help you tell you, okay, no, close it. Because you're even disturbing the bank. Emerge. You're not even understanding anything yet. Those are the things you will not see those things. Those lonely nights. Those times they were working hard. People don't see it. It's not visible.
You see, the only difference between the one who quits and the one who doesn't is that they showed up every day.
They showed up every day.
They worked hard every day.
They work hard every day.
Every day.
Not every month.
They learn from the proven men.
They are learning every day.
They improve every day. They did all this even though they felt like quitting.
Even though they felt like quitting. But when you see them on the private jet or the beautiful car, or you see them on all these things, you admire them.
They became who they are today.
These people are all successful, right? Please, did you learn something? Did you learn something? Yes. This is just what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no silver bullet. Manage your time properly. And let me give you the last golden advice where we can end this meeting. All right. Are you ready for the golden advice? Are you sure you're ready? Yes, sir. Please check on Zoom if it is actually. Please check. Is it moving? Check on Zoom. Those on Zoom, is there a change in the screen? Let me be sure. I want to give you the golden advice. Please check. Please, those on Zoom, can you see the screen? Is there a change in the screen? No, that's not what I want to see. Golden advice, good, please. Are you ready for it? Oh, it's like we are not ready. Are you ready? Yes, sir. Now, let me give this to you. Now, I want you to pay careful attention. I want us to read this carefully. Please don't read this thing as if you are sleeping. Read it well, all right? Read it well so that let it sink deep. This is a very, 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 very crucial advice. There is no silver bullet, but let's understand it. Can we read this together? Wait. I want to separate the screen. Let me silence this. Let me remove this. All right, are we ready? The golden advice. Let's read together. 1, 2, go, please. For best results. And it's not all. That's not all. And if you do this, now this is it. This is it. Let's get this clear. Let's get this clear. Let's get this clear. Now, for best result, all right, for those who didn't really get it. So let me now assume everybody understands. For best result, there are things that you need to do daily. What you call success, you see those positive, simple disciplines we are doing daily, right? It's a combination of it. Now, guess what? There are things you need to do daily, right? These things are simple. It is mundane. It's a simple thing. That simple does not mean easy. You are doing the booking. There are things you do daily. Follow it. Follow a simple, proven strategy. Not the one, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Follow this proven strategy. You see this same booking you are doing, this same home launch you are doing, these same systems you are using is what has produced all the thousands of millionaires that you know. It's still the same system. If it's working for them, it should work for you. Stop going on the net looking for what? For some magic strategy, what you will do, shortcut. There is no silver bullet. There is no magic beans. They end up wasting your time, so avoid it, right? What you should do, commit to completion. When you start anything, ensure you see it to the end, right? I am doing this thing, it's not working. It must. That is it. Let me see the end. Is it not the same thing this guy did, this guy? Let me do it. See it to the end. Embrace the learning curve. When you do it, you didn't get the result. Keep doing it till you master it. That's what makes you become a master. Learning is one thing. Becoming a master is another thing entirely. Becoming a master means you practice over time, right? And immerse yourself in the process. Go 100% in. See, in this game, in this year, and in this economic time, 99% will not work. How many percent do you need to go? Anything from 100 and above. Be part of the process. Do this thing wholeheartedly. And more importantly, and I always love to bring this last, all right? And with God, can we read the last one together? 1, 2, go, please. And with God on your side, you will be unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the session, and this is my message for you today. No problem, I appreciate it. But the truth about it is if you do everything I've said, not even everything, at least apply as much as you can, things will change. Things will change. You don't need to look for Jim Rohn. You don't need to look for a quarry. All right? Guess what? What you know, practicalize them and do it. All right? Have you gotten value today? Yeah. All right, good. Now let me take this quickly, just some quick announcement. Our Amazon event, the physical Amazon event, which we'll be holding. When is it? When is it coming up? All right, it's coming up tomorrow. And let me seize this opportunity to appreciate all the organizers. Sincerely, I appreciate you all. You've all been wonderful champions. You are the Amazon ambassadors, the unstoppable leaders, especially the Dragon Force mentor, Bill, you know, and all other unstoppable leaders, and even the organizing team, like Mr. Yusuf and many other people who have been putting up their activities to see that it becomes a success. I think you know, flyers are out. Let me share this. Let me see if I can show you the screen. Let me share this screen. We're going to share this. Please take note. You can start inviting. We all know the venue, right? Do we know the venue? It is Suten in, is it Suten, right? Is that correct? Suten, Shima Plaza. But the way the Suten Shima Plaza here in Suleja, but the way the stuff is designed, please take note of this. The way the flyer is designed, this was what we did. So you're going to be receiving this shortly. Let me show you. I'm going to post it on the WhatsApp group. I'll circulate it on the WhatsApp groups. And this is what you're going to see eventually. I'm sure those on Zoom can see it. Let me just quickly share this. 50. Okay, let it load out. Give it some time. Now, you're going to see those flyers. We have 2 flyers because the event will be in 2 days. Tuesdays and when? Saturday. Now, book massively. It's happening tomorrow, and tomorrow is the first time and it's going to be launching. And guess what? In fact, somebody was asking me, is it only for women? Is the event only for women? It is. The Amazon is strictly for women to attend. but not strictly for women to invite. I am a man, but I have my wife, I have my daughters, I have women in my cycle, isn't it? So I can invite them, I can help them with the opportunity. Did you get it, right? I have colleagues, I have classmates who are female. So take note. I have a contact you can book. All right. So take note of that. You can invite women, your female colleagues. And the best system to use actually is the IPI. All right. We'll come up with those scripts. You see the script, but with or without the script, if you know the previous IPI script and you know our mission statement, all right, you can use it to invite your prospect. Do it as massive as possible. All right. Don't make them look at it from a perspective that it's free and so that they start using it. Oh, no. Sorry, this was not what I was looking for. I think I went to project 50. Let me go here. Okay. I think we tidied it up last night, Yusuf, right? Yeah. Is this it? Is it it? Let's see. Okay. So we have this, and even more appreciation goes to our emerging leaders, our Amazon ambassadors representing. All right, I appreciate all of them. So this is the flyer, all right, and it's going to be a combination. These people are going to be running this, all right. The patrons are going to be behind the curtain, giving them all the necessary support. So you're going to receive this flyer. Well, you can put it on your status and all that. What happens here is you say this Tuesday. Did you get that right? Live in Abuja and Niger State. Did you see the tactics of it, right? Strictly on what? Reservation. And then it says contact the person who gave you this flyer to book your reservation. We just left it at that, all right? So that it's a flyer that you can use any Tuesday we're having it. Did you get the logic? And then if we're having it on a Saturday, then it means you can also use this on a Saturday. So both flyers will be posted on the platform because we're going to be having it Tuesdays and Saturdays. Did you get it? Did you understand that, right? Beautiful. So that is it. Please, can we give an amazing round of applause for the organizer? I really appreciate them, especially the Amazons, all right, and every single one of you that will be making this successful by the grace of God. I believe it will be successful by the grace of God. I strongly believe and I'm optimistic. There are other amazing flyers we can share on your status and all that to drag attention and all that. It works, and people will ask you, what is it all about? But call, action marketing works more than attraction marketing. Don't just share flyers, but do that call and invite them, okay? Please, did we get that, right? So are we ready to start making the invitation? So when you're doing your bookings today, know how to do that. Then lastly, this is a question I want to answer. This question was asked, and I just felt I should answer it publicly. I'm sure the person is here. Now, the person asked me, he sent me some names that these people are due to be added to my Kingsmen platform. All right? The you leaders should have, or probably should, the you leaders should have maybe a Kingsmen platform. They could have, maybe, but there is a special Kingsmen platform which every leader should strive to see that their Kingsmen are in that platform. All right. So the idea is for those of you that are on the platform, you know the platform I'm talking about, right? What happens there? A lot of things happen there, right? Is it fire or ice? It's fire. All right. So many things. It drives you, it pushes you. So many things happening there. It's an amazing platform. Very interesting platform. It's one of the, for me, that's the most interesting and the most lively platform that I know. It's the entire platform that I have. In all the platforms, that's the most attractive and the most worthwhile platform to be. It's even more amazing than even the U Leaders platform, than even the Emerging Leaders platform, and any other platform. You want to be in the Kingsmen platform. So if you are done with your SMO checklist, your leader will give you the criteria. Now, this is it. For me to add you there is simple. All I need is just take a screenshot of your 8-8 worksheet. All right? That's what I need. Don't tell me, oh, the person has finished his SMO checklist. Yes, the Kingsman celebrator, that's true. But I want to add you to that platform. Meet the criteria. Send me the 8-8 worksheet and their username and password. Let me just check. See how many they've connected. All right? So your leader will tell you, once they've connected, once you have up to 8 persons in your team, you are due to be in that platform. That is it. If the 8 persons are you that sign all the 8 persons, it's fine. But even if you're not the one that signed all 8 persons, but at least you should have signed in 4 persons, you are due to be in that platform. So do that, the U leaders and all the emerging leaders know this criteria, all right, so that you can get more people in that platform. I want more people in that platform. We have still less than 100 people in that platform, but I want more people in that platform. And there are lots of Kingsmen, but not all of them have met the criteria. We have some Kingsmen who are done with the SMO checklist, but they've not gotten a single sign-up. They've not recorded a single sign-up yet, all right? So put in the effort, break the ice, and let's get you into the platform. Please, did you get that, right? Do we understand it, right? Okay, good. So I think this is where we're going to be ending it. I appreciate every single one of you. It's so unfortunate This has taken longer than anticipated. Let me encourage us all, ensure we all join our cell meetings tomorrow. All right. Join your cell meetings, your individual cell meetings with your leaders tomorrow, and let the learning continue and let the grind continue. God bless every single one of you. And I hope to see every single one of you at the top. All right. Thank you very much. And let's get to the grind champions. All right.